We made it. That was one hell of a climb. Look at that. Time to ski down the other side.
Chamonix is home to some of the highest and most challenging ski touring routes in the world.
Describe that again.
I thought we were in a chill little spot, and I looked down and I was like, holy shit.
We had had a late start that day, and it wasn't until our second ascent en route that we were able to see more than a few hundred yards in front of us. This was the first time in 3 hours that we were able to see the view, but it was worth it.
Drop in.
This is Greg. He is my father.
Still taking pictures. Come on.
This is Neil. He's my brother. You've probably met him before if you watch our videos. This is the French Alps. And this is the story of a ski trip that the three of us took last winter.
All right, Neil, tell us what happened.
I don't want to talk.
Neil booked a car for the wrong week.
Okay, good to have you both.
Not sure I agree.
Once we were able to find a new car, we loaded up and head straight for the mountains. We spent our first night driving to a small town called Vallee. In the morning, Neil was dialed in, ready to hit the slopes. Greg, not so much. The Three Valleys is the largest ski resort in the world. Its three namesake valleys are Courchevel, Maribel, and Val Thorens.
Where are we going tomorrow?
With over 180 lifts to choose from, just getting to the top of any of these three valleys can take a few hours. Once we made it to the top, it was hard to stay together. Neil was dead set on blasting ahead, and our aging father was just trying to keep up. The real reason Greg wanted to come here? The food. The 600 square kilometers of piste that make up the three valleys are home to a sumptuous selection of ski-in restaurants and bars. White tablecloth service, at this elevation, no problem.
Wow, really?
These are just a few of the dishes that we ate on piste. Val Thorens is not only the highest resort in the three valleys, but it also holds the claim to fame as the highest ski resort in all of Europe. The restaurant culture here is so extensive, they even built a cafe at the summit. Even from way up here, we could see a party, so we had to go investigate. Hitting a slopeside dance party in the Alps is on every skier's bucket list for a reason. The main thing you should know, don't trust the people wearing sneakers if you're at one of these parties. This is exactly where we expected to run into Greg. And we did. We were having so much fun, we didn't even notice the fog rolling in. Once we left the party, we were completely lost.
Neil, Nicholas, you follow. Neil, you lead. I can see your coat. That's fine. I can't see anything.
Come, look at that. Out of the cold.
It wasn't too long before we found another party. Eventually, we made it down to the bottom of the hill, but Greg was missing again.
Do you think he's dead?
Only time will tell.
After a few days, we packed up the car and headed over to where it's steeper and deeper, Chamonix. On the way, there's a medieval town called Annecy. Neil was as restless as ever, but Greg insisted we stop. Known as the Venice of the Alps, Old Town Annecy is crisscrossed by a series of channels that drain into the town's namesake lake. It's a pretty nice place to walk around and eat a crepe, but like most European old towns, there's not a lot to do. I think this is a good place to point out that Neil is one of the most impatient people I have ever met.
Gotta get him.
Neil Mass way, I didn't see it coming.
Our dad likes to take his time, wandering around, taking pictures. He even signed us up for a last-minute sightseeing boat ride. Neil was struggling. After Annecy, we stopped for some pictures on a few alpine passes.
Why do you always try to get me at the difficult points when I can't walk? When I try to stay alive and fall in my ass?
In the end, Neil got his way.
You always
Sort of.
walking.
It's just good film, Dad. Whoa!
C'était le bon temps dans le palais d'antan, on allait danser toute la soirée. La valse musette. C'était le bon temps dans le palais d'antan, c'était le bon temps.
A storm blew in overnight and coated the valley in a fresh layer of powder. Chamonix is famous for many things, steep skiing most of all. Neil and I let Greg have a rest day and hit the steepest, deepest mountain in the valley, the Grand Montets. Somewhere below the last peace marker, which wasn't all that helpful, we realized we had no idea where the sanctioned skiing ends and the cliffed-out avalanche terrain begins. The Grand Montets, like most European ski resorts, take a laissez-faire approach to boundaries. They are more of a trade secret than public knowledge, and signs are few and far between. Halfway down our first run, we were completely lost, and possibly in neighboring Switzerland.
It's pretty unclear if you're gonna get cliffed out because there's no markers, but we're making the best of it.
Eventually, we found our way to the bottom, and then it was up for another ride to the top and back down again. It's pretty easy to get carried away on a powder day. 1 minute you're floating, the next you're falling.
Neil was just getting hassled by the French bartender, so we only have one celebratory beer for the end of the day.
Yeah. Remember to say please when you're in France.
The best part about skiing in Chamonix, you can ride a train home from the ski resort. It was at this point in the trip that we were joined by a young Swiss Mexican by the name of Alioth and a German Nicaraguan by the name of David. The five of us skied Brabant Flégère that day. Chamonix is home to the first ever international ski competition, which took place in 1924 as part of the first Winter Olympic Games. This was a pivotal moment for skiing, and it helped propel the sport into the international spotlight. Things have changed a lot since then. With lifts carrying anyone uphill, you're just as likely to spot a new retiree as an Olympic hopeful. These two don't fit in either category, despite what they tell themselves.
Hell yeah.
Chamonix may claim to be all about steep, extreme terrain, but don't be fooled. The dining establishments on piste are just as classy and delicious as anywhere else in France. The best part about skiing Brabant Flégère is that it's situated directly across from Mont Blanc, the region's highest peak, the roof of Europe. At this point, I was worried Neil would have a stroke if we didn't go ski on it, but first we had to help David get down the mountain.
Come on, show us how it's done.
For the tourist who comes to the French Alps, a cable car sweeps out of the sky toward the town of Chamonix. This steep cableway is the longest in the world. It was built to serve the thousands of visitors who travel each year from the Alpine village on the high road to Mont Blanc. Amid the spectacular scenery, the cable railway nears the end of the line, high on 12,000-foot Aiguille du Midi mountain.
The Aiguille du Midi stands at 3,842 meters, making it one of the highest peaks accessible by cable car in the world. Located on the edge of Chamonix, it offers some of the most stunning panoramic views of the Mont Blanc Massif. It's from here that many climbers start their ascent. Or, if you're like us and hundreds of other skiers, this is where you start the Vallee Blanche, a world-famous 20-kilometer descent back to Chamonix. The route starts with a short but extremely high-consequence walk, so it's standard practice to wear crampons and a rope when approaching the route. The Vallee Blanche isn't particularly steep, but it's one of the longest continuous off-piste runs in the world, descending over 2,800 meters vertically along a former mountaineering route. Most people, including us, come here for the opportunity to ride a glacier. We just so happen to also be here on a powder day. The highlight of the Vallee Blanche is the Mer de Glace, or Sea of Ice. Skiing along the edge of a serac, or a giant ice wall, was the best part of the trip. Skiing on the glacier itself isn't actually very difficult, but a guide is necessary to make sure you don't fall in a crevasse, which can be hundreds of feet deep. I'm still trying to figure out what it is about French people that makes them build cafes everywhere. From here, you can see that the glacier has shrank by over 100 meters in recent decades due to climate change. We weren't expecting moguls this far from a resort, but that's what you get on a world-famous ski run. This was easily the longest traverse I'd ever done on skis. The lower ends of the glacier are dotted with moulins, or creeks carved by the summer melt. These form a fun little obstacle course for skiing. Made it to the bottom. On our final night in Chamonix, the only thing left to do was celebrate. As the night wore on, you could see the tension of the past few days dissolve into our beers. There's nothing left to prove, nowhere else to be. We could just enjoy being there.
concludes our journey, and we'll see you next time. I'm Nicholas Piper.
And I'm Neil Piper. Thanks for riding.
Japan, Tibet, Spain, France. Their peaks are timeless challenges in the story of man and the mountain.